I should be interviewing right now Danny Brannagan, the Gaels quarterback for the 2009 Vanier Cup champion team, being honored here this afternoon on the field before the game. Danny getting to flip the opening coin toss there.
Yeah.
And I guess, first of all, what have you been up to over the last little while? I understand congratulations from a major life event for you earlier this summer.
Yeah, thank you. I was married in June and had a whole bunch of the '09 team attend the wedding, and it was a great event. Everything went well, and it's always nice to have an excuse to see all the guys.
And coming back now, I guess maybe some thoughts going back to that 2009 season, but also maybe about things have sort of developed in the OU a bit. A couple of the guys used to go up against on the field, now on the sidelines with Falls, and now Ryan Sheen back with Guelph.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great to see it as you kind of grow up through these programs, and all of a sudden time creeps up on you 10 years later, and you see a lot of people that you've played with or had as coaches moving on, progressing, and it's very exciting. And that next generation of OUA coaching is coming along, and it's exciting to see.
So let's maybe go back to that 2009 season. I know, a lot of us have very fond memories. Great regular season. Then we go into the playoffs, but I think probably, maybe arguably, three of the most memorable playoff games. We go back. Let's start off first of all with that Yates Cup win over Western, and you and Falls going head to head on the field all day long there.
Yeah, that was absolutely a great game, and when you're out there playing and on the field, you know what's going on, but you might not appreciate it. So going back a couple years later and rewatching those, it was absolutely amazing. Having two fifth-year quarterbacks who were firing on all cylinders, and I think there were 10 touchdown passes, and it just seems like one of those things of a quarterback dreams of being involved in, and it was a great way to end the OUA season for us there.
And then the final home game that season, taking on the much vaunted Laval Rouge et Or, and maybe they were thinking a week ahead kind of thing, but then you guys coming up with the big upset there here at home.
Yeah, absolutely. Laval's such a storied program, and especially at that time, they were the champs, and they had been the champs over the last decade or so, and so getting a chance to play them here at home was absolutely great, and I think it was a big surprise to them and also to the country to see that we can compete at such a high level.
And then going down to Laval for the Vanier Cup, a chilly game down there, I remember, in Quebec City. And that, it's a tough start, I think, against the Calgary Dinos. What, I guess, maybe kind of turned things around at halftime, because you guys came out in the second half with that big early touchdown.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a slow start in the first half. We weren't as productive as we should have been. And I think halftime afforded us an opportunity to go in, take a deep breath, and count to 10 and say, this is what we expected. They're not doing anything that we weren't expecting. We just have to go out there, execute, be crisp, and that's what we did in the second half and came out ahead.
And maybe describe that feeling, I know being in the stands of that game, but seeing you guys in victory formation with just a few seconds left there, what that was like.
Yeah, it was absolutely a great feeling. That's what you think about as soon as you decide what school you're going to, is winning that championship game and being in, the ball in your hands to end it. It was spectacular, and as you mentioned, the first half was not as favorable to Queens, so I think that there was an element of relief there as well, just knowing that, the game was over and the outcome was the way that we had wanted it to be.
And then maybe, I guess, the exuberant celebrations after that, what that was like on the field with everybody. A lot of you obviously had your families there, and a lot of people traveling down from Kingston.
Yeah, absolutely. It was amazing. It was a great experience, and I was very fortunate. That was my last game. It was my 5th year, so these were the guys that I had been with for the last 5 years, and doing all the early morning practices and all the cold, rainy practices, and to see all that hard work pay off, it was something very special. And then to be able to actually have all of those guys with you, it was it was an incredible experience.
And now moving forward, a chance for you to come back with the guys this weekend. What has that been like for you?
Yeah, it's been great. It's crazy to think that 10 years has gone by, but some of the guys look like they can still go out there and play. So it's been great. Great catching up with people, and it's a beautiful new stadium. It's Queens is winning. It's what we wanted.
And maybe thoughts, from your perspective now, taking a look at the on-field action here this afternoon, what you've seen, and your thoughts on the Gaels. Again, a young team, a team in transition now, moving from your head coach Pat Sheehan now to Steve Snyder.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough when you have a young team, especially when you have young quarterbacks. And I can speak to it from personal experience. I came in and my first year was much different than my last year, and it takes some time, right? It's difficult. layer on top of that there is the coaching change and there's new offense, and you don't necessarily have those senior guys that you can lean on. It's, everyone's in the same boat of trying to pick up new offense, new systems. So it's very difficult, but I think that they've shown throughout this year that they can compete. It's one of those things where those close games are those games that you start to figure out once you have a more experienced team and you just find ways to win. But I think that they've demonstrated that they have the fundamentals to go on and be a successful team over the next couple of years.
Okay, well, once again, thanks to Danny Brannagan. Congratulations
You.
on your wedding over
Thank
the
you.
summer. And again, congratulations. The last Gaels Vanier Cup victory back in 2009 being celebrated here this weekend. As they're watching after the first 30 minutes, the Gaels up on top of the Windsor Lancers 6-0. We'll be back momentarily with the second half.